I'd like to go ahead and open the July 22nd, 2025 Littleton Conservation Commission meeting via Zoom. And we do have quorum. Thank you for joining us, everyone. What I'd like to do is go ahead and start with the approval of minutes, which are dated July 8th, 2025. There were many pages of them. Does anyone have any omissions or corrections? I just have one, but anybody have anything they'd like to put in?
I just have one little tiny thing on the 550 King Street ANRAD. Can you guys hear me, by the way? I don't know if this is
Yep.
working. Oh, perfect. So at the very end of that discussion for the 550 King Street ANRAD, it says that we set a site visit, and I think it was June 14th, but it was the July 9th meeting.
Yep. Well spotted. Thank you for that. And then the only one that I had was back on the first page, Enforcement Order 0 Fort Pond. And I would defer to you on this, Tim. I thought that you had mentioned that when you went to the site originally, that the 100-foot wasn't clearly denoted and that there were some possible trees down, but was unsure where they had come from.
Yep,
Is that okay?
that's accurate.
Okay, so if we could just change the narrative on the third line to that, where it said he noticed excavation had occurred, comma, many roots had been damaged, and then add a sentence that you feel comfortable with that. Are there any other omissions or corrections? If not, can I please have a motion to approve? Okay, Michael and Kyle are both joining us. Michael.
Hey, everybody, sorry I'm late.
Yep, okay. Great. So we are just waiting on a motion to accept the minutes from July 8th, 2025 as amended.
I'll make a motion that the commission approve the meeting minutes as amended.
Okay, thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay,
Right.
great. Andrew, would you like to do roll call, please?
Certainly. Roll call vote. Carl?
Cal Melberg, aye.
Kyle?
Oh, Maxfield, aye.
Michael?
Michael Livingston, aye.
Ed?
I was not here, so I'll abstain.
Okay.
And Sarah?
Sarah Seward, aye.
Myself, aye. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ayes and 1 abstention.
Okay, great. What I'd like to do is I recognize there's quite a few administrative discussions. Some of them will be longer than others, but I'd like to just go ahead and start in the order of which they're presented. Top of the list is a request for a certificate of compliance, 16 Middlesex Drive, DEP number 204-0931. Tim, can you speak to that?
Yep, so for this one, we were just waiting on the area that was seeded for it to get to the end of its monitoring period. It was probably ready to go at this point last year, but we went out there again this year, and it looks just about near 100% filled in, and the site is stable. The erosion controls have been removed, so it, in my opinion, is ready for CFC.
Okay, great. Do we have a motion to issue that?
I'll make a motion that the commission issue a certificate of compliance for 16 Middlesex Drive, DEP file number 204-931.
Second.
Thank you, Ed.
All right, roll call vote. Carl?
Cal Melberg, aye.
Kyle?
Kyle Maxfield, aye.
Michael?
Michael Livingston, aye.
Ed?
Ed Foltz, aye.
Sarah?
Sarah Seward, aye.
Myself, aye. It's unanimous.
Okay, great. Next on the list is discussion on the enforcement order on 30 Warren. I see, Casey, we've just promoted you. If you're here,
I'm here.
if you want to just introduce yourself and bring us up to date. And Tim, I think you have some photos to share.
Yep, I'll share them.
Great. Go ahead, Casey.
Yep. 30 Warren Street. Last time we did anything to the property was September 2024. Littleton Earthworks came out and did the job as prescribed by Scott Hayes, Chuck Karen, and as approved by this committee here to plant 24 shrubs, including winterberry, blueberry, and arrowwood, to plant native flowers, to drop in 2 to 3 inches of loam. And they did all that work in September. October actually. And I just been waiting for it to fill in, and I had to water it. It was very dry last fall, so I kept it watered, and it's been looking like this all year, to tell you the truth. It's very lush.
That's great. And Tim, you've had a chance to go out?
I have not had, excuse me, I have not had a chance to go out there.
The vegetation looks great, Casey. Okay. Commissioners, what are your thoughts on this? I think you've had a good team working with you.
I think Casey's worked pretty hard to make this what we were looking for.
Yep. Tim, what would you look for a vote to rescind the enforcement order?
Yeah, vote to lift the enforcement order.
Okay, commissioners?
To lift the enforcement order on 30 Warren.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll
Second.
second.
Okay.
All right, roll call vote. Ed,
Ed Foltz, aye.
Carl,
Tom Alberg, aye.
Michael,
Michael Livingston, aye.
Kyle,
Maxfield, aye.
Sarah,
Sarah Seward, aye.
myself, I. It's unanimous.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you, Casey.
Thank you all for your time and guidance.
Okay.
Appreciate
Next,
the work.
next is enforcement order ratification and discussion for 3 Sarah Indian Way. Tim, who's here to speak for that?
We don't have anybody here to speak to this tonight. I was able to just get in contact with the property owner about this today. We certified mailed the enforcement order last week, and I checked the tracking number and it said it was delivered to a PO box. The property owner saw my email this morning, came in, and I was talking to him, and he doesn't have a PO box. We, for whatever reason, the address that we mailed it to, it didn't get delivered there. He had a prior commitment tonight. He couldn't make the meeting, but he said he will be attending the August 5th meeting to talk to this.
Can you let us know discussion? Did a discussion occur that he's aware to not do any additional work on the site?
It did, yes.
Okay.
And if you want, I can pull up the enforcement order and show some of the pictures from that.
Yeah, and can you talk through, Tim? I know there was some confusion when we were on site on which project this was. If it was one that we had discussed, and then we saw one that either had been performed without us knowing, or there was a little bit of confusion on the properties out there.
Yeah. Let's see. Let me share my screen real quick. All right, and so what Kyle's talking about is this property had a determination issued last year, and for some reason the plan's not showing up. But this structure right here is a porch or a gazebo, and it was permitted under a determination to be rebuilt in the existing footprint. It was noticed that there had been extra work done on site. This clearing you see back here, starting up here, going all the way down to essentially the bank of the pond. And that is what the enforcement order is for. In addition to these sonotubes that were not permitted to be in, and that goes back to the plan that was reviewed during the hearing process for the determination. The plan showed on it the gazebo right here that was going to be rebuilt. It showed stairs that were removed, and I can't speak to it because I wasn't on site during the initial site visit when this came in front of the commission last year, but I don't believe those stairs were there at the time. The plan also showed stairs that were not existing, and I confirmed this today when talking with the property owner that he was under the impression that those were permitted during in the determination.
But what's that got to do with half a dozen sonotubes?
So the sonotubes were actually shown, those locations were shown on the plan that was submitted to the commission last year, as were the location of additional stairs going down to the existing dock.
But
That I do not recall.
that was not in the narrative, to my understanding,
Right,
correct?
it wasn't in the narrative, and Lauren went back and she watched both of the meetings where this was discussed in front of us, and it was not mentioned at all.
And I did the site walk here, and all he was talking about was replacing the bad structure with a good structure.
Yep.
Okay. So I think what I'd like to do, because this will have future discussions, is we do need to ratify the enforcement order. And for clarity, the enforcement order will be for, as Tim had mentioned, access disturbance here. And then it appeared that some other trees or shrubs have been taken down as well. So where the applicant is not here, we can have future discussion at the next meeting. They've been made aware that they're not to do further work, but would like to go ahead and ratify the enforcement order, if that's what the commissioners would like to do.
Yep.
So we're looking
That's the
for a
right thing.
motion.
Correct.
Now, I move that we ratify the enforcement order of 3 Sarah Indian Way.
Second.
Yep. Who seconded? Okay. Thank you, Michael.
All right, roll call vote. Ed,
Ed Foltz, aye.
Sarah,
Sarah Seward, aye.
Michael,
Michael Livingston, aye.
Kyle,
Kyle Maxfield, aye.
Carl,
Carl Melberg, aye.
myself, aye. It's unanimous.
Okay. Thank you. Let's go ahead. We've got a few minutes before our next public hearing, and I see that Steve has joined us. Let's go ahead and have a discussion on the enforcement order 04 Pond DEP 204-0988. Steve, are you here? You're muted, Steve.
There we go.
Yeah. So Steve, if you could introduce yourself and then just give some of the backstory of this. There are 2 commissioners that were not part of the last hearing that we had.
Sure. Steve Marsh, I'm working for David Harrington. I am the contractor that was hired to put in his dock and through his order of conditions, install a path and a boathouse within 100 feet of the pond. What I tried to do was I went ahead and I started work. I did do the dock. The dock is installed. And part of the process that I utilized to put in the path was to pull out the stones and prep an area for a small deck, so to speak. It really wasn't depicted what it was supposed to be made of, but I anticipate it's going to be made out of wood. That's what we quoted, but there was nothing in the order for that. I went through and I dug out some boulders, and during that process, I did take out some roots for some trees. I did not take down any trees, not even in the 100-foot that was alluded to earlier. I was trying to meander around the trees and save the trees, which we managed to do. I since hired an arborist who came out and reviewed and checked the status of the trees and said that if we backfilled it with the parent material that was there, that we have a really good likelihood of the trees surviving, which we anticipated. And let's see. As far as if any of the trees die, I'm happy to replace them to the same caliber that's there. And then I want to move the boathouse out of the 100-foot. So that's our intent. But I just want to say for the record, I still feel as though, regardless of the enforcement order, that I'm in compliance, and I would not cut any trees. I went through a whole a serious effort to not cut down any trees within the 100-foot. That's why we meandered that around. Yeah. I also have submitted since, at the request of 1 or 2 of the commission members, a restorative plan through my wetland specialist. So I've hired the best people that we could, people that are certified, an arborist and a wetland specialist, to take care of anything that was damaged. And at this point, we're ready to go, with the exception of me waiting for my surveyor to lay out beyond the 100-foot the boathouse.
Okay. Tim, are you able to share some of the photos for the commissioners that haven't been out on site? And then if there's a commission member that would like to just do an overview of what was in the original order of conditions, that was supposed to be no mechanical excavation, and just show kind of the roots. So Steve, just so others can see what's happened.
Sure. Yeah. It's going to take me a second to pull that up. But while I'm pulling, while I pull that up, I wanted to note that since last meeting, we had met Steve out at the site. He installed the additional erosion controls that we asked him to. And then he was authorized to trim or prune the roots at the recommendation of the arborist, and backfilled the paramaterial. Steve, I'm sorry if you already mentioned that, and I'm reiterating that. But from what I saw when I was out there, and Steve confirmed this, it doesn't look like you have to bring in additional fill. No,
I don't think that we will have to. I have my material on site for the wood chips. They're all set, and then I won't be working down within the 100-foot. I'm going to be working beyond that, and the 100-foot area is marked.
And then I also think that, Steve, you might want to mention that you had staked the path that's supposed to be 5 feet wide, and I believe you were going to go ahead and have that surveyed as well into the plan.
I'm going to have, I'm within the confines of the 35-foot wide access path. And again, it was staked out originally. We lost the stakes. So I believe that I'm within the original staking for the pre-construction. But here's what I would suggest. I would like to, I'm having it surveyed anyway for the 100-foot, for the boathouse, which will be outside the 100-foot. I'll have them do an as-built once I get the piers put in for the boathouse. So I don't have to do it twice. So I'd like to just continue to work.
I think the commissioners will have to take mention of that. So what you've been asked to do is to go ahead and survey the 100-foot and survey the path. And then once that's approved, then you can talk about the location of your dock, of the bench that's supposed to go in there, in conjunction of where the path is, because of the erosion of the path going up. Commissioner, let's just have the other commissioners, because there were others that were out. Michael or Kyle?
Sure. So I guess first of all, when you say you're in compliance, I think that's where we're having a disagreement, right? I understand you didn't remove any trees, and you were permitted to remove a couple of trees. But there was we're supposed to be no use of mechanical equipment. We were told that vegetation was just going to be trimmed to the ground, and then wood chips placed over that. So looking at this picture, we were either misled, or there was a very, very large miscommunication on what the actual work was going to be. So those are my two primary concerns on being out of compliance. I think it's great that you were able to change the route of the path and save trees, and I hope you're right that some of these trees, or most of all of these trees, will survive. Sarah, what you said, I think is exactly on point. As far as things moving around, including the sitting area and the boathouse, I was going to bring up, I assume that we need to amend the order to include those changes.
Correct. And that's why the path would have to be specifically noted on the new plan.
Yeah.
This was supposed to originally just be like was mentioned, wood chips on, no digging, just wood chips on top with a bench down near the water and somewhere up above a spot to put their boats. It was fairly unobtrusive or wasn't going to really have a huge impact on the space. This looks like it really got chewed up.
Well, I disagree. I think that if you read the order of conditions, it specifically says that I have a spot there for, if you read through the order of conditions, which I think was poorly written, you'll see that it leaves me space for, it says something about where I can put my equipment. I think there was some confusion. This isn't my first time working with a Conservation Commission doing an order of conditions. So typically when I see language in there that says no motorized vehicles, and I walk the Newtown Road property all the time. There's a big sign that says no motorized vehicles. I think that's typically, and again, I wasn't at the meeting, but typically it's for people after the fact, after we're done, so that people aren't riding their, four-wheelers and that kind of thing down there. That's the way I interpret it. But like I said, if you read the order of conditions,
Tim, can you go ahead and pull up the order of conditions?
If you read it, it's like I said, it looks pretty favorable to me, because it talks about where I have equipment and where I can park it and where I can park it overnight. So I think this was, like I said, I was trying to be as minimally as invasive. I mean, not trying to do too much damage there. There was obviously going to be temporary damage, temporary disturbance, I should say. But it's back, it's back to normal.
Hey, Steve,
Yeah.
did the landowner, did you have any discussions with the landowner before you made this path? Like, I mean, the landowner must have been aware of what we were looking for with the path.
Yeah,
What
you know
was
what?
he that we
The
spoke
path
with?
is actually laid out right where, I cut it in. I just moved it around the trees a bit.
Hey, Tim.
But if you look at the plan, the plan
hold on,
mimics what's
Steve,
on
hold
the.
on. We're going to go ahead in the essence of time is
Okay.
on the screen. People can see, you might have to blow it up a little bit in terms of what the findings were in this order of conditions.
Number 2 is the wood chip path.
Mm.
There was only 3 trees apparently going to be pulled out,
None were.
and the boathouse location was moved farther from Fort Pond.
Okay, but read number 4. This is to avoid soil disturbance.
Yeah,
There is significant soil disturbance.
there
Okay,
certainly was.
so commissioners, there may be some discrepancy in terms of what Mr. Marsh thinks and what the commission thinks, and
I think in the grand scheme of things, just tell me what you want and I'll do it. That's the bottom line.
So commissioners, what would you like to do to allow this to continue to move forward? So there's erosion controls that are there. The roots have been cut back and the pathway has been filled back in with soil. What would you like to do for the next step? I believe a discussion was that it needs to get engineered in terms of where the 100-foot is and the path.
So, Sarah, if I can interrupt.
Yeah.
Steve sent this over earlier today. I didn't get a chance to send it, to forward it over to you guys. Steve, do you want to run us through what you've proposed in the restoration plan?
Yeah, so this is from Goddard Consulting, from Mark Arnold, the wetland specialist. And basically he's saying that, I have to replant with native plants and then bring in some of the original duff from the area and just cover up those plants.
The trenches that are there that were showing the dug into the bank, that you said that's already been filled back in.
Everything's been corrected. I can't do anything until everything's
That's this
back
picture,
in,
right? This looks like
minus
it's been
the
filled.
boulders. That's the only thing that's different.
No, I get it. It's difficult to tell from this. That's why I was
Sure.
asking.
Kyle, did you say something?
No, so this is what we were looking for after we left the site. He's filled the path back in. We were looking for him to meet with some sort of wetland specialist to provide some guidance on how to revegetate outside of the 5-foot path.
Right. And I think one question we had was at the end of this path to come up with what the elevation should be, that it's not brought all the way back up to grade. There's a large rock that was there so that the water doesn't carry on a cascade. So I'd like to see some type of elevation of where this path is going to stop, and actually in relationship to where the sitting area is going to be. So when they lay out this and also do the, surveying to kind of look at that, the entryway.
Sarah, on the original plan, I was allowed to go down much further, closer to the bank.
Right, but
including with the seating area.
And that's possible, Steve, but
I don't want to, though.
You have soil that has now been totally destroyed. And so we have to keep it to make sure it can vegetate and properly take, so that it doesn't carry on path, so that you're scooping everything out of the lake by hand.
Correct, but I agree with you. I mean, there's a, this thing is depressed below the original grade. So I think that if I keep the wood chips below that, which I can easily do, but don't forget, down at the very end, it's almost like a dam. And again, I could have gone beyond that according to what was approved. We kept it back. I think we kept it back like, close to 10 feet.
Commissioners, what would you like to do?
Yeah, so great. Real quick, there's two things there. One, you didn't have approval to excavate material down to the bank. You had approval to cut vegetation down to the bank to put in wood chips. Second, which is that's a non-starter. But number two, all Sarah's looking for is for you to shoot that elevation where that depression is that you're talking about, Steve, where that little step was. She just wants to see what that elevation is versus the elevation of the path, right? To confirm that we're leaving some sort of check dam to keep flow from carrying sediment down into the pond while this is all being revegetated.
Agreed. I'll do that.
Thank you.
Okay.
Was the original plan said there was going to be some kind of ramp up to the bank? Did you cut any of the bank out, or is it just you put the dock and then had a ramp go up to the bank?
Yeah, no, we didn't do. I just basically put the dock in and rested it on the existing bank, and it works perfectly.
We meet again on August 5th. Do you think you could have that engineered done and come back to us for August 5th?
He's due out this week, so that's what he told me. But engineers are hard to get, and surveyors are tough. But I'm scheduled to do it. And as soon as I get it, I'll forward it to your office.
Okay. Thank you. We've got to keep going.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to go ahead. It's almost 8 o'clock. We're going to go ahead and open the 7:45 public hearing, notice of intent, 18 Pleasant Street, installation of a septic system. Who's here to speak with that?
I'm promoting them over right now. We have Montgomery here.
Yes, I'm here. Let me share my screen.
Montgomery, if you could introduce yourself, that would be great.
Yes, my name is Montgomery Wustamski and McNary at 1000 Main Street in Acton. I'm going to be representing the applicant today. Let me share my screen. But I shared the wrong screen. Can you see the plan?
Yep.
Okay, so this is 18 Pleasant Street in Littleton. So we have an existing house here, a deck. We have this walkway in the front of the house. We have an existing driveway. This is the edge of the existing driveway. And we have a shed in the back. So we do have wetlands in the back here, which is in the blue, highlighted in blue here. And it does the 100-foot offset which is this line over here. So this is the 100-foot buffer zone, and this is the 50-foot buffer zone. And so the existing shed is within the 50-foot buffer zone, and the existing septic tank is within that 50-foot buffer zone. The house is basically, most of the impervious area is actually within the 100-foot buffer zone, except this section of the driveway, existing driveway, that's outside. So basically the proposed conditions, we're proposing to remove the existing, proposing to install new septic tank and new pump chamber in the new leach field within the 100-foot buffer zone. So this, the septic tank, the pump chamber, and the leach field will be outside the 50-foot buffer zone, the 50-foot buffer zone. And this existing septic tank, which is currently within the 50-foot buffer zone, will be removed, as you can see on the plan. So we do have this silt barrier, siltation barrier to protect the wetlands during construction, and we're gonna have to do some work within the 50-foot buffer zone because of this septic tank, which has to be removed. So we did request for a waiver to do that work because Littleton, the regs, we're reading the regs, and it does work within the 50-foot buffer zone is not allowed. Except removing invasive species. So removing the septic tank is part of our scope of work. So right now, I'll take any questions from the commission.
The existing tank, what if you just filled it in, and would that decrease the impact on, as opposed to pulling it up and making all the what all the things that happen as a result of that?
Yes, yeah, that's an option. That's an option we can consider, just leaving it in place. But we would have to rupture the bottom and remove any waste and then fill it with sand. So we can leave it in place, but we have to rupture the bottom and pump it dry and then fill it with sand. That's according to Title V.
Sure, but that would be less intrusive than bringing a backhoe and everything else.
Yeah, then removing it. Yeah, we can do that.
Are you leaving the shed or are you taking the shed out?
The shed will be staying.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The aerial of this area shows some pretty significant tree cover behind the house. What's existing there for vegetation?
Vegetation. I'm assuming it's just like maybe shrubs in the back, but I can confirm that. I'm not aware at the moment.
Montgomery, have you been out on site?
Not yet, no.
Okay. So as Kyle mentioned, in terms of trees, we would ask that they be noted on the plan, which are staying and which are going. And Ed certainly had a good point in regards to just breaching and filling that tank, which is really more protocol for the commission. Commissioners have other questions?
Was the septic tank was it in failure, Montgomery?
Yeah, the system was in failure, so we had to put in a new system. And you can
what
see.
What are you looking at for equipment to put in? I mean, this kind of project, I'm assuming, is going to need some heavy duty work.
Yes, it's gonna need some grading. As you can see, the grading is changing on site quite a lot because we needed to get enough cover over the leach field because a portion of it is gonna be underneath the driveway. So we're gonna have to place it under the driveway. So you need an extra cover for that. So that's why there's like significant change in grading for the system here.
Also to remember to note where you're going to stockpile any material kind of coming or going, that you just have to make sure it's out of the 100-foot buffer as well.
Okay.
Sorry, let's go next.
Commissioners, would you like to set up a site walk? So we can look at vegetation, or would you like Montgomery to bring back what the trees are going to be removed, and that way they can be flagged so that you could see them?
Yeah, either one of those is fine. This seems pretty straightforward to me, other than what's there for vegetation. That's my only concern, I think. Adding a couple things, like you said, denoting where the stockpiles will be kept.
Okay.
But I think this is pretty straightforward.
Okay. So it doesn't sound like we need to do a site visit, but Montgomery, if you've heard the comments presented to you, to bring forth an amended plan,
Okay.
a revised plan.
Yep.
And then Tim, if you have a chance to scoot out and take a peek once the flags are noted, which ones are going to be removed.
Okay.
Yeah, and I guess while you're out there, would you be checking flagging? I'm not sure that. I know the river's right there too, or whatever. The mill ponds are back there.
Yeah, I could check the wetland flags while I'm out there as well.
What, Montgomery, when was it flagged? How recent?
May. It was flagged May this year.
Okay, great. So that's another step, that the wetlands flags will have to be verified. And then if you're planning on doing, based on what you're removing for vegetation, what you're planning on putting back in, if you could make note of that as well.
Okay.
Okay, is there anything else that we would like to have for the next meeting? We do meet on August 5th. Do you think you could have that for the next meeting?
Yep.
Okay. With your permission, we will go ahead and extend you to August 5th.
Yes.
And real quick, Sarah, has this gone through Board of Health? Because it looks like we don't have a DEP number yet. Am I right in assuming that?
So the Board of
So we actually do have a DEP file number. It came in after the agenda was posted.
Okay. And
They didn't
Board of
have any
Health?
comments.
The Board of Health hearing is tomorrow.
Okay. Okay, well, you'll let us know if anything changes on your plan for sure.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so
Have a
much.
good evening.
Bye.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and jump back to administrative discussions, and that will be enforcement order discussion, 33 Star Hill Road. Is anyone here to talk to that?
It looks like Mark was here, but it looks like he has left. I told him today, we met out at the site, myself, Amy, their wetland scientists, Dave Crossman and Lauren, and Chuck Karen. And we looked at the soils in that questionable drainage area, and they were not hydric.
Okay.
So the plan that they showed you at the prior meeting was accurate. They're going to be putting together a restoration plan now that they know where the wetland line is confirmed. They're going to be putting together the restoration plan for the next meeting.
Okay, and so they know we're meeting on August 5th?
They do, yep.
Okay, great. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump back. Let's take our 8 p.m. public hearing, notice of intent, 31 Mattawanakie Trail, repairs to patio and stairs. Who's here?
I don't see Rob. Oh, sorry, not Rob. Chuck Bush here. Guessing.
Okay. So what we can do is let's keep this open for a few more minutes. Let's jump back to administrative discussion.
Oh, is this Chuck?
Yeah. Yes, Paula's iPad.
Gotcha. I'll promote you over here, Chuck. Give me a second.
Yep. And then Chuck, when you're promoted over, if you could introduce yourself, that would be great.
Join the panels.
You've already been promoted.
Okay, you're muted, Chuck and Paula. And then Tim, in the meantime, if you have a plan that you want to go ahead and show as well.
Hello, I'm Chuck Bush, and I'm at 31 Mattawanaki Trail. And I wanted to actually take brick up, put brick back down because they're deteriorating and they're a hazard for people to walk on. And, you know, it's just a simple maintenance type of cleaning up.
Okay. Chuck, do you have photos or, oh, I see Tim's putting a plan up. Do you have photos that you're going to share with us as well?
Can we do this? Can I walk right out 10 feet and show you it?
Let's go ahead and talk about the plan first.
Okay.
Just in
idea.
case we lose you as you're walking around with the
All
iPad.
right. Okay. So if you look at the darker outlines, okay, those are the tops of the walls, and they're up about, I don't know, a couple inches from the ground. And what happens is they're starting to deteriorate because of the top of the wall and cracking and falling apart, crumbling. All we're going to do is lift those off and put granite tops on. These stairs are breaking also. Over the winters now, the cement has cracked, and in the cracks, the water has got in, and it's delaminated and it pops. What happens is I'm trying to glue them together. It's not working that great. I really want to replace them with real granite steps instead of the cement blocks that were done in 2002. Also, on one of the sides, the bigger side of the patio, it seemed like it's sunk right in that area. It's a big sinkhole there, and people sit down and they're going off weirdly. I'd like to take that whole, most of that side up and lift it up, put more dirt in, and put the pavers back on. That's it.
In regards, Chuck, to the last sinkhole area, is water coming in from somewhere, like through a
No.
roof hole, or just?
No, I think it was fill, and it just in the fill. There's nothing weeping on the whole wall or nothing. The wall is fantastic. Nothing's wrong with that. It just must be the way we compacted it or what we did back then. It's settled.
Just settling.
Yeah. What how far are you to the waters, to the high water or low water or any of that?
Well, if you look at the water right there, see it? There it is.
So it goes all the way up to the steps right here, right, Chuck?
Yep.
Well, there's a little bit of a beach.
There's a little bit of a beach,
Okay.
but not much.
Okay.
Yeah, right there.
Is that this line?
Yeah.
So this plan is from the 2002 filing.
Was the dock,
Yes, it's permitted.
okay.
I was one of the first people in the town to get it permitted
Like,
Excellent.
on this lake.
Might have been the first.
Much appreciated.
So if I understand correctly, you're basically looking to repair 2 staircases and the top of the walls, putting granite cap rather, and
Yep.
fixing a sinkhole.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And have you submitted a waiver?
What do you mean a waiver?
Work within the first 50 feet needs a waiver?
I did whatever my man Tim told me to do.
I'm pretty positive he submitted a waiver. If it was it not included in the packet that I sent over, Sarah?
I
He gave me a bunch of stuff and I did them.
There's a notice of intent included in the packet.
Okay, it would if it was in there, it would be towards the end.
So I'm scrolling down now.
Okay.
Wetland, the transmittal form,
Pretty sure that I saw one.
and protection regs, Board of Assessors. I don't see one that says.
There's
where-
a waiver in there. It's like, I don't have a page number, but it's
Sure.
there's a waiver request requires information. Yep.
let's talk a little bit about erosion control.
Well, if you need us to do a little erosion control, we can put, if you look at the stairs going down to the lake, we could go from one rock to the other rocks on the side here. And that's all we're gonna need because everything else is gonna be behind walls.
And how do you, because we don't have pictures, Chuck, how do you get like your caps and your stones and your other material in and out?
Well, we were gonna bring a small excavator to the top of the stairs and then just, bring it down and then just lower them down.
So are you going to be bringing in, once you, in your, what you're calling the sinkhole area, you're going to take the pavers up, and then
Yeah.
are you going to bring new soil or new something?
Oh, we have
in
to use new Star Pack or something, or the material that we generally put underneath the, pavers to make it right.
Okay. I think that for this notice of intent, you're going to want to submit photographs that actually, and have a site walk and actually show
Can we try?
where the excavator is going to sit, because you're doing work in the first, like literally first couple feet of the water, and the commissioners can certainly tell me I'm wrong on this, but you would have to really show on a plan where the erosion control is going to go in, because you can't stockpile anything within the 100 feet.
There would no be stockpiling. If any stockpile, it's a pallet of brick put on the ground, or another pallet put for the brick to put on top and out.
Yep.
So there's no stockpiling any dirt.
Right. So usually there would be a sequence, like an order sequence, that you're going to do this first, then this, then this, then this.
Yeah. Can we?
I'd like the other commissioners to chat.
Tim's been now.
Where is the 100 on this anyway? Way off the picture?
Probably up on Manawanaki Trail.
No, the house is, there's a, what do you call it here? In the left-hand side.
Yeah.
With us, you know, you can see the square there. That's the house. You're almost there, Tim.
The hash.
You mean the hash thing?
Right there. Yeah.
Oh,
I
okay.
mean, that's the edge of the house, right? 100 foot is gonna be.
We got a scale down there.
Oh, the back of the house is probably only 50, 60.
Yeah.
The septic's all in the front of the house because we had to do that.
Full properties in 100.
All right. So what we're talking
25
about,
deep, yeah.
presumably then you could put your materials in your driveway.
If I needed to, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have any materials but bricks. That's not going to erode into the lake and fill the lake.
So access for the excavator, and then you'd have to have your erosion controls loop up past that.
Okay. I mean, like I said, I'd like to, if everybody doesn't mind, we could go outside and clean this up in like 5 minutes.
Still has to be on a plan.
I understand, but at least you'll see it.
It's up to the commissioners, not up to me.
Okay.
I'm fine with it if we could make that happen. If it does nothing else, if it theoretically eliminates the need for a site walk, since he'll be site walking for us, but
Give it a whirl.
Okay, thank you.
So can you still
whoa.
see?
Yep.
Okay,
A little bit of dizziness there for a second.
sorry.
So these are the caps right here. Can you see me?
Wait a minute, make it down.
Get down.
Down low.
See, these are the caps
Okay.
right here?
Yep.
Literally, pick them up. Look at them. They're broken. Take them up, put a new cap on. The caps will look like this. They're granite. There'll be more of a bigger sleeve. Okay? The stairs. Turn around. The stairs are cracking.
Can you see them?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm moving on half of these. All these are all cracked. And if an old lady falls, you know, they're all, oh, there's one.
So you're taking those completely out, Chuck?
Yes, I have to take these completely out and I'm putting all new
Granite.
granite in.
So it'll be
you'll
one
have-
piece.
So it'll be one piece.
Oh, it's a prefab staircase?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Everybody see that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you want me to turn around and walk towards the lake now?
No, I want you
Have
to
you?
see the,
Okay.
what do you call it?
Oh, I don't know if you can see this light.
Here's the sinkhole.
Okay. I think we,
Right
oh,
in
there
this
it
whole
is.
area here.
Tim saw it when he came out here last fall.
This whole area is sunk a little bit. Now, if you see, there's no way.
Mhm.
Looks like they're just outside the 30.
Yeah.
A new delineation.
It was good while it lasted.
I think
Alright.
we have to have
We may have
erosion
lost
control and where the excavator is going to access.
And
Mhm.
do you guys want the plan highlighted for what work on that plan is actually going to be redone?
Yeah, that's the, like that doesn't really show a proposed plan, right? It was for a different project.
Yeah, because
So,
I would
yeah, I think-
imagine we don't have a DP file number yet, but I would imagine that's coming in the comments.
All right.
Jack, it looks like you're muted there.
Would you like to see more?
I think I've seen everything.
Okay, so let's talk about, commissioners, what you'd like to see for this project.
I think we're talking about an actual plan showing what's to be done, where the storage will be for the material, how you're going to get the prefab steps in. I assume that means you'll have to have some kind of equipment.
Okay,
And I
Andrew,
guess
Kyle,
what-
you're both muted. If you have any comments too.
Am I muted?
No, Ed, we got yours. I'm just asking others too.
Oh, okay.
We need to see where erosion controls will be, how they'll be installed.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm pretty comfortable other than a plan that shows, on that plan what's happening. We walk through it, that's fine, but we need something on record to show what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Maybe a sequence of which one's happening first. And
That sounds good.
So
Project
Chuck,
seems pretty
Tim
straightforward.
might be able to give you like an example of,
Yeah, I'll stop off and see him.
okay. Just
All right.
tell him ahead of time because he's going to have to pull one out of records just to be able to show you.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So we will, if you can have that, we'll go ahead and put you on for August 5th. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
thank you.
Bye.
Yeah.
Good night, Paula. Good night, Chuck.
Yep.
Good night.
Good night.
Okay. So let's go ahead, and do the, it's 8:23. Let's go ahead to the 8:15 public hearing notice of intent, Frog Pond, 0 Lake Drive and 0 Lakeshore Drive, parcel ID U12-22-0 and U12-15-0. Who's here to speak with Frog Pond? So Tim, you promoted Jean,
Yep, Jean
Maria,
Maria.
and Steve. Okay, great. Who would like to take the lead and introduce yourself, please?
Yep, thank you. Stephen Yanley, Director of Public Works here with the Town of Littleton. Thank you for the opportunity tonight to present this NOI for some rehab work to the constructed wetland, more commonly known as the Frog Pond, and the walkway that kind of connects Beach and Lake Drive. With me tonight, two members from the design team, Ty and Bond, Jean Christie and Maria Johnsonberg, and I will just hand it off to them and they can take the presentation from here.
Okay, and you're welcome to share your screen, Jean or Maria.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Steve. I will go ahead and I'm going to give you a brief introduction and then I'll share my screen. So as Steve said, we are proposing to rehabilitate the existing stormwater wetland that was constructed back around 2002, 2003. Essentially, it has not been maintained for that time. So a recent study found that we have anywhere from 3 to 23 inches of accumulated sediment that needs to be removed in order for it to function properly. And what it does right, or what it's supposed to do, is essentially help filter water before it gets to Long Pond. So it's important that we get this rehabilitated. Typically, if this had been done on a regular schedule, then this would not have had to come to the commission, but because we are out of normal maintenance for this, we're here with a notice of intent to do this work. In addition, there are a couple other things that are going on in this area that will follow this, one of which is the walkway, which is included on our plans. And the other is an invasive species management effort that the town has funded, but that is waiting to start until after this and the walkway work happens, because it doesn't make a lot of sense to start working on that until after we do this work and put things back together. So that's just kind of in a nutshell what we're trying to do. This is, can you all see that now? No, I have to actually hit share. There we go. Can you see it now?
There you go. Yep.
Perfect.
Okay, so this is the parcels that we're talking about. This is the sediment forebay with the sediment that we need to remove, and this is the existing walkway. This is the path that it follows, and then we have some essentially stockpiling and staging areas, because this is a lot of area to cover and it's an extremely constrained site. The work that we are proposing is taking place within bank bordering vegetated wetland and land underwater, as well as the buffer zone, almost entirely the 50-foot no disturb zone. Because if you look at this plan, I think there's one corner right here out of the buffer zone that's on the property itself that is not in the 50-foot zone, just because of how small the parcels are relative to where the wetland is. So we're looking at 99 cubic yards of dredging, and the plan is that we would enter from this area to the north, and we would come down to the existing forebay with a small excavator to remove this equipment. This is the soil stockpiling area to take that sediment until we can move it off site. The plan is to install a pump bypass system so that we take water out and essentially just bypass the forebay during the work, so that this is done in the dry. That is our primary aim. The walkway is being designed by other people, but it is included in here so that we are not, separating projects on you. I think that those are my primary highlights, unless you want to add anything, Jean, before we kind of move into what the commission would like to know more about.
Sure, I can probably just add that my name is Jean Christie. I'm a principal engineer at Time Bond. Since this basin hadn't been maintained, it did prove that it's working. A lot of sediment is collected in the forebay, so I'm really glad to see that it's working. But removing all that sediment will continue to improve the longevity of the wetland, of the constructed wetland. Through this process, we're hoping to reinvigorate the O&M process for basins such as this. You'll see in your packet in the stormwater memo that there is some additional O&M protocol that we'd like to start to get the town to program into their capital planning to just continue to have this basin functioning as it's designed. That's it.
Hey, Jean, was there anything in the original was there original notice of intent when this was constructed? Was there anything in there that talked about maintenance periodic maintenance of it?
Yeah, there was there was some maintenance language in that, because it was important that that design, that O&M language, which was really specific to this kind of basin, we kind of reiterated it, but added to it. So we are using the same language from that original filing in terms of how we want to maintain kind of the overall stuff, but we did add some additional information to it.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question for Jean or Maria. Can you talk a little bit about the actual staging areas? What is present on the ground now? Because it would be highly irregular for this material not to be shipped out directly from excavation.
Maria and I probably have to tag team this one because I haven't actually been on the site. So she's been boots on the ground. I'm just the engineer looking at a piece of paper. I agree that these the excavated sediment is going to have to be managed somehow. I think first and foremost, though, it's important to try and get some water out of it. Pumping down the forebay before we start excavating is kind of step one. We also need another place to put this so that it does have an opportunity to dry a little bit. So it's easier to move around, a bit less expensive for the town to dispose of, depending on what the disposal needs are. But Maria can help talk about what is actually in those areas today.
Yeah. So this area up here is specifically for stockpiling the sediment that's removed before it can be taken off site. And looking at our next sheet 501, that stockpile area should be a lined area. There should be erosion controls around it, and it should have a liner in it to deposit everything until we are able to put it into a truck to move it off site. So that's a temporary stockpile. It's 100% not intended to stay there very long.
Can you define temporary? Because I know that means different things to different people.
I don't think we have a number in our head. Maybe that's something we can, as a group, agree on what is appropriate.
Okay. And then you mentioned pumping down that forebay. Where is that discharge going to go?
It goes directly into the main part of the Frog Pond wetland. So going back to this sheet, this area right here is the forebay. There's a pipe that comes into it, and then there's another little weir that it comes out of. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the water directly from the pipe and just bring it into the main part of the wetland so that we are just bypassing this. So it's going to go where it normally goes. It just won't go through the forebay during this process.
Do you have thoughts of how long that pumping down would go or might take?
It's going to depend on the weather, I think, how much water is actually in there. Of course, we'd want to do it and pump as little as possible.
And how much water is in there presently?
That is a good question. I have not been to the site in a little while, so I don't know how much is in there. Right now, we are hoping that this work can proceed this summer because that's when the water table will be at its lowest and driest conditions. But I mean, that is, of course, subject to getting the order of conditions and such. So, but that's the hope from a scheduling perspective. Okay. It would be ideal to do it that way. You had asked about what it looks like, and I have some photos in here of the area. So this is back in March without the leaves. This is the northern edge forebay area. You can see the walkway nearby it, the existing walkway. This is the larger part of the wetland where it exits to go under the road into Long Pond. And then we have more pictures of the walkway and the existing conditions for why we need to replace it, and just the general wetland. So there is vegetation. There's a lot of invasive species immediately around all of this work. hopefully that gives you a better idea of what it is like there.
So that big body of water is what you'd be draining?
No, the big body of water is where we're pumping the water to. There's a smaller body, or I guess it kind of looks big in the picture, but it's a body of water that we're going to be draining. But because it has a fair amount of sediment in it, there's not necessarily as much water to come out as it might look like.
How long do you think this project will take, start to finish?
I think the sediment removal piece is, it may be a little labor intensive. You know, if we are removing, you know, using an excavator, pull materials out, but then moving them by hand to stockpile areas, depending on how we do that. And outside of the walkway work, because we don't know when that will happen, you know, I think it's a pretty short project. It probably depends on who we have doing the work. And I don't know, Steve, if we had talked about who was going to do the work, if this was something the town was capable of doing, or if others.
Yeah, more than likely, I'm going to bid this out and try to lump it in as one project to do the forebay work and then also the walkway work.
That's my way of saying I have no idea how long it's going to take.
I would think on it. I mean, I'll give you my opinion. I think the forebay work is probably, you know, set up a couple of days. You got to de-water. You're looking at a week and a half to 2 weeks, and then the walkway is probably another 2 weeks. You know, a week of demo and a week of construction.
I'd give us some leeway and say, you know, probably 1 to 2 months for the whole thing. Hopefully a lot faster than that, as Steve described, but, you know, just from an understanding that things don't always go exactly the way you plan, I'd assume 1 to 2 months.
Yeah, can you, I guess I feel probably can't answer this based on the couple comments you just made, but I'm a little unclear, other than there being an excavator, how sediment is being removed, transported, you know, managed in all of this. I get that it's getting dug out of the forebay and put into the stockpile area, but it's got to go a good little ways before it gets to that stockpile. And you got to work from one end to the other, I assume.
It's not. It's only. Let me just double check the scale on this.
Like, are we going to be using mats?
It's only about 20 feet from the forebay area up to the stockpile area. And to be very clear, the stockpile area is over here because we needed to take it out of the existing wetland, which actually overlaps the walkway so that we weren't stockpiling in the wetland. And so like that's part of what is making us move it that far. But this is 20 to 40 feet. It's not a very far distance that it has to move. We are having an excavator come in here to take the sediment out, and they should essentially be able to go back and forth between here to get it into the stockpile area. And then when we have a truck come, we can empty this into a truck to take out. This is a pretty simple and standard way to manage soil.
Is there any concern of additional draining of that sediment while it's stockpiled and managing that water?
I'm going to give that to Jean.
Can you repeat that question?
Once you remove the sediment, I know we're draining down the forebay, but once you remove that sediment, stockpile it, it's a fine set of material. Is it going to continue to drain and fill up? Well, we have standing water that you'll have to maintain in that stockpile area.
I'm hoping not. With the pumping system going around, it's also going to, if we do have a storm event, divert any water coming in to go around the forebay so that we're not resuspending solids, having to wait for them to settle out. And that way, for that short duration that we are working in the forebay, there will not be water coming in, new water coming in. There's probably overland water coming in, but not from the actual drainage inlet.
And yeah, so by the time it's pumped down and you excavate it, it should drain. It should be drained. Okay. We're not working with soup and mud to go over that storage area. But that's kind of what I've been envisioning in worst case scenario. An excavator tracking back and forth with buckets of slop to try to maintain.
Right, but Kyle brings up a good point that you're hoping it's not, but what are we going to do if that does happen? So that has to be outlined. If this happens, what we're going to do. Does the process stop? Does it then just get put right into trucks and hauled off?
Oh, I would say that's definitely not an option. If there's wet weather, if anything, work stops. I would assume is the answer. If you can't move.
I'm gonna say that given that we need to work in the dry to the extent that we can, that if we have a storm event, that we have to wait for the area to drain before we can take them out.
Your storage area, are you going to align that with plastic or whatever to help decrease any water drainage that might come out of? You're not going to get it totally dry, so. Is
Right,
that
and that's what I'm thinking, because when I've worked on sites like that, it's still weeping.
right?
You're talking in the stockpile area?
Yeah.
Correct.
It could be. If the commission thinks it's necessary, you can definitely add that in.
What are you
Wouldn't
going?
that end up promoting it staying slop though if there was still water there? And I'm just thinking back to when we had dredging done at Forge Pond. You know, part of the process of dredging it out was allowing the soils to drain to what extent they could, and then removing it because it wasn't going to be sand or dry by the time it was ready to be physically removed.
I think you can line the edges of the stockpile area to make sure that it's not like gushing out if there's excess water, but we would still certainly want it to infiltrate down to dry before going in the truck to the extent that it can. So it wouldn't be completely lined, but we could line the edges of it to help make sure that it's contained appropriately.
Can you, with your cursor, just outline the 100-foot and then the 50-foot?
Sure. So this line here is the 100-foot buffer zone. So it goes way out here past the property. And then this line here is the 50-foot zone. And
so pretty much the whole project
is right here.
So, and just so you know, for future reference, we do ask that the plans be color coded. So the Tim can share with you what our color code is for boundaries and wetlands. Just so it makes it easier to read these plans. Okay, commissioners, other questions? Site visit, and then to have the 3 areas that are going to be stockpiled areas noted or staked.
They are noted here.
In the field.
Ah.
Is this a project that would normally have erosion controls of any kind?
Mm-hmm.
It does, and they are proposed all along the edge of the forebay, as well as all along the edge of the walkway and the laydown areas.
Thank you.
So that too would be highlighted, color coded. Okay, commissioners, what would you like to do? So how soon do you think you could have the areas staked?
We could do that this coming week. I would have to check. We might be able to get it done later this week, but we could definitely get it done for next week.
Okay. Commissioners, do we want to set up a tentative site walk for the following week? I can do the 30th, which is a Wednesday.
Could do that as well.
Any time works. Michael, what's good for you?
Anytime that would end before 11:30 or after 1:30. I have a commitment during the noon hour.
Okay.
5 o'clock?
Yeah, I can do the 30th, but it has to be at least 5 o'clock.
Yeah, 5 o'clock is good.
Yep. So it sounds like Andrew, Ed, Michael, So we could do 5 PM on the 30th, and then just, is that something you all think you might be able to facilitate?
Yeah, we can certainly
Give it a whirl.
on site to show you around.
Okay, great. So with your permission, we meet again on August 5th. We would like to continue you, with your permission, to August 5th.
Oh, Sarah, I had one other quick
Yep.
question. So I did notice on the plan here, I'm not seeing the walkway, the proposed new walkway, go down to the dock about halfway down, unless I'm misreading this here.
The existing walkway is here, and what is proposed is just to replace the existing walkway. There's not an extension.
Gotcha, because
what currently exists.
The current walkway does have that little outlet out to the T-shaped dock that's about halfway down. I know in our funding application, we had looked to include that in the replacement as well.
Are you referencing this?
The area just before it that goes out to it.
Okay. I will.
Is there an existing walkway there?
There is, yeah.
Okay.
We can just show to replace in the same location.
Yeah, well, there are a couple of other updates that they have requested to the plan, so we will double check that.
And then if we can put that in the narrative as well. So on the plan and then in the narratives. Okay. Any other commissioners have any other comments? Okay, so we would look forward to seeing you on the 30th. If you could just confirm with Tim, hopefully like on Monday, to make sure that still works. And we will then continue to August 5th.
So I just want to double check before we finish up. You had requested that we add some color coding to these plans specifically for the buffers and erosion controls, and that we update the walkway to make sure that we're showing that extension, and you want the stockpile areas to be staked before the walk on the 30th at 5 PM.
Yep, so I think what's most important is the staking first, because we can get out on site. So if you have to prioritize, I would go ahead and do the staking first. And
sure.
they can just be corners. It doesn't have to be specific. The commissioners, are you okay with that? Just like corners?
Yes.
That works.
Okay.
Okay,
great.
No, that's understood. I just wanted to make sure that I had the whole list here. So when
we appreciate you. Yeah. Yep. That's great. Okay, we've got to move along. We thank you for coming in.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. It's 8:48. We're going to go ahead and take the 8:30, which is the continued public hearing notice of intent 76 Hartwell Ave, DEP 204-1021, expansion of a garage and widening of the driveway.
Oh, and Sarah, before we get started with this, I just wanted to disclose for the record that I'm on the Cemetery Commission, and that's next door before moving forward.
Okay, great. Thank you. So for those watching, Andrew will recuse himself from voting.
So actually, I'm able to participate. It's just noting it for the record.
So you're still able to vote?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for clarification. Okay, who would like to speak to this?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. My name is Lim Hotiv. I'm a project engineer at GPR, Goldsmith Preston Ringwall. I'm here tonight as a representative for the applicant, and as well as standing in for Bruce as he's on vacation for this week. I believe during the last meeting, when Bruce was here, there was discussion about updating the site plan to show the compost area as well as the little paved area and stone wall, the gate in the backyard of the project site. Tim, are you able to pull up the plan that was submitted?
Yep, I am. Give me 1 second.
And then commissioners, Tim also put in your packet dated July 16th an outline as well that Bruce had submitted.
Yes, thank you. An updated narrative.
Yes.
Alrighty. So if you could please just zoom to the backyard.
Oh, I'm trying. It's giving me some issues.
Alrighty, that works. So we went out there and demarcated the a couple of the boulders, the bigger rocks along the stone wall. There is an existing 36-inch oak back there next to the composting pit and berm. Altogether, the compost area is approximately 175 square feet. That's really it. It's just right next to that paved area. And happy to answer any questions.
Commissioners, anybody have any questions? You can also note the narrative that was submitted in your packet as well.
I'm pretty comfortable with this. That was just described pretty well by Bruce the last meeting.
All righty.
Yeah, so is that all? We were just looking for an updated plan. Is that correct? Is that correct calculation?
Yeah, correct. So happy to move forward if someone wants to make a motion.
Sure. I'll make a motion that we close public hearing and issue an order of condition for 76 Hartwell Ave, DEP number 204-1021.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Michael.
Roll call vote. Carl.
Tom Melberg, aye.
Ed.
Ed Foltz, aye.
Sarah.
Sarah Seward, aye.
Michael.
Michael Livingston, aye.
Kyle.
Al Maxiel, aye.
Myself, aye. It's unanimous.
Okay, great. Thank you for coming in this evening.
Thank you very much. Have a good night, everyone.
Thank you. All right, it's
Yes, ma'am.
8:52. We're going to go ahead and open the 8:45 continued public hearing, abbreviated notice of resource area delineation, 550 King Street, DEP 204-1023.
So I just got an email from these folks a little bit before the meeting saying that they're going to be continuing. They didn't really have anything to share with us. The only thing I will note is that me and Lauren went out with Dave Cowell, the wetland scientist, a couple of days after our site walk out there, and we walked both of the flag lines, and we didn't have any questions regarding the locations of those existing flags.
Okay.
So we're going to.
And they're just put forth to August 5th?
Yep.
Okay. Let's go ahead and jump.
Hey, Tim, what, as far as the equipment still parking in there, is just has been designated where they can park the trucks?
Yes. Lauren and I drafted and sent out a letter and copied, was it the Light and Electric Water Department, Town Administrator's Office, Lupoli and Rivoli on where they should not be stockpiling their or parking their equipment and stockpiling.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Tim, did you give them a time frame to move the equipment?
I'd have to go back and check. I'm pretty sure we said immediately.
Okay. Okay. If anybody does a drive-by that was on that site walk, we can also look and make sure it got moved. Okay, great. Let's go ahead and go back to administrative discussions. Star Hill, I think we're good with that update. Tim, you had requested CONSCOM meeting schedule remainder of 2025. That was in your packet.
Just want to note 97 mil is also continuing to August 5th as well. I sent around the draft for the rest of our meetings for the rest of this year. I just want to see what you guys thought of that. If there were any objections or comments.
Remind us when the fall meeting is, town meeting?
I believe it is, let me think.
October 28th, I believe.
That sounds, is it the 28th?
Let me double check what that Tuesday is.
I believe I planned around that in the.
Okay. Yeah, it looks like you did, Tim. So we have 2 meetings in August. For those of you that don't see it, it's August 5 and August 19. And then we go to September 2nd and 23rd, October 7, and then 21. So we basically have 2 meetings in each month. I do note I may not be at the August 5th meeting, but it's a moving target. So does anyone have any questions on that? Can we let Tim go forward and post those dates?
Sounds good.
Looks good to me.
Okay.
Yep, I agree.
Tim, are you good with that? Yep. Okay, great. And then let's go ahead. Mass Ready Act.
Yep. So this was just to let you guys know that the governor is introducing this bill that would streamline permitting for priority housing and culvert repairs. It simplifies permitting for natural restoration projects, cuts duplicative administrative appeals for wetland regulations, allowing local appeals to go straight to Superior Court, and that comments on this are due to the Joint Committee of Environment and Natural Resources by July 29th, which I believe that should be next week.
Right, so it's still in the comment phase.
Yes, it is, but just wanted to let you guys know.
Yep. Okay. I neglected to ask if anybody had any other administrative actions or other updates. Tim, is there anything else you wanted to add in?
Nope.
Commissioners, anything else?
Have anything else to add, but I don't know if we can just, I want to go back to 04 Pond real quick. I mentioned or brought up that likely needs an amended order of conditions. We didn't really push that through.
Yeah, eventually it will. Yep.
Okay.
Is that just for the relocation of the boathouse
and the sitting area?
Right, but you'd also have to note potentially trees that were damaged based on the arborist note, and also where the path is going to be now, because now it's going to be defined versus before it was wood chips.
Yeah, it's a whole new plan. I mean, that there's nothing new. It's entirely new. Yeah. The alignment of that path, the placement of the seating area, the boathouse, everything is different.
Okay.
You know, the dock is probably in a new place. It sounds like the dock's in a different place too, because he moved it so he didn't have to take out that tree.
So let's not carry on with discussion of that, because was a prior discussion. Okay. May I have a motion to close the meeting? It's 8:58. If we don't have any other discussion.
Motion to close.
Yep, there you go. Second.
All right, roll call vote. Ed.
Ed Foltz, aye.
Sarah.
Sarah Seaward, aye.
Michael.
Michael Livingston, aye.
Kyle.
Kyle Maxwell, aye.
Carl.
I'm Albert guy.
Myself, aye. We're adjourned.